It is the Manchester derby.
How different are derby days?
Yeah, no, of course they're different, but listen, everyone in there, we love it.
City have men over here. De Bruyne, Haaland,
That's going to be key going into the derby, but then the big one at Old Trafford, Paul.
I'll go for another 4-0.
Obviously, De Bruyne's maybe not been on his best form recently, but he's one of those players who, if you throw him into a big game, he will produce.
for Haaland. Haaland now up against Lindelof. Plays it in. Foden! Bill Erling. Manchester City had to wait 52 years for a hat-trick in the derby. We get two in one day. First of all, you, Phil, just how special was that for you? Foden! 6-1!
Our biggest game of the season.
And that's a clever ball back for Cole. What a brilliant goal! Superb strike by Andy Cole.
Matchday Live is coming to you live from Old Trafford with me, FG.
Two Derby Day hat-tricks. The argument now is who's going to get the match ball. It's a nice problem to have. City 6, United 3.
Welcome to Matchday Live. It's Derby Day here in the city of Manchester, and Manchester City will be hoping to get back on track with a win here at Old Trafford. Last time out, it was 6-3 to the Blues with hat-tricks from Phil Foden and who else but Erling Haaland. My name is FG, and I'm going to be getting all the thoughts and opinions of some very special Matchday Live guests here at Old Trafford. Stay tuned for what should be an absolutely cracking show, but for now, let's head over to the blue side of Manchester and the studio with Natalie Pike, Stephen McNerney and David Mooney.
Big thank you to FG there. Hi, I'm Natalie Pike. How are your nerves holding up at home? Thank you so much for joining us on Matchday Live. I'm joined in the studio. First of all, I'm so happy he's here. He is the ideal man that you need on a derby day, the man that's going to calm your nerves and make you feel positive. Sean Goater, I'm so happy you're here.
I am as well. I'm really looking forward to today.
Thank you. Thank you to Sean for being here. It always makes me feel better. And then we're joined on the other sofa by David Mooney from the Blue Moon podcast.
I won't calm your nerves. I'm sorry about that.
No, I don't need this in my life today. And of course, from YouTube, esteemed company, it is Stephen McInerney.
Yeah, somewhere in the middle, to be honest. I'll terrify you, but then reassure you somewhere, at some point. So I'm good to be here, though. I'm nervous now, if I'm being honest. Yourself?
Horrendous, absolutely horrendous. I'm holding all of these nerves in. I hate Derby Day. I'm going to give you your team news the second I'm allowed. That is in about a minute and a half. Before that, I'm going to get the thoughts. We've not told our guests today what the team is at all. So, Stephen, are you predicting? We've got about a minute till I'm going to tell you. Are you predicting anything crazy? Who do you think's going to be in? Key people?
I'm going to go for Ederson, Walker, Kanji, Laporte, Ake, Rodri, De Bruyne, Bernardo, Mahrez, Grealish, Haaland.
OK.
But I want Foden, personally.
You want Foden, OK. David, any difference to that?
If I was picking, that's probably the team I would pick, because I'd want John Stones in there, but obviously he's not available. Like Stephen, I'd like to see Foden in there, because he's an exciting player that'll run at United, but I can see Pep wanting to kind of keep it nice and tight to start with, so...
30 seconds, I'm going to give you the team news. Sean, what do you think?
Oh, I sort of like that, You said Ake at
yeah, I think he'll play. I mean, we'd like to see Cancelo as well.
Are you thinking Cancelo?
I am thinking... I'm actually thinking Ake, because we're away from him, and I think we could bring Cancelo and could add stuff going forward. But I would agree with the midfield as well. I think it'll be Bernardo in there, De Bruyne, Rodri, and the same up top. Walker on the right-hand side to deal, I think, with Rashford.
Mad idea here. Maybe Rico Lewis at left back. Crazy suggestion. If it happens, I'm a genius.
I think that'll be. I think that may be a second half move and not a starting point.
Right then. Well, I'm going to give you the team news now, and I'm going to tell you you're going to be very happy because you've got a Phil Foden. Here is your team news for today. City's starting 11, and it is Ederson, Walker, Akanji, Ake, Cancelo, Rodri, De Bruyne, Silva. And then you have Mahrez, Foden and Haaland. Your subs, Ortega, Phillips, Gundogan, Grealish, Laporte, Alvarez, Gomez, Palmer and Lewis. That is your all-important City team for today. So Phil Foden does start, which is going to make a very happy Stephen McInerney.
That's a great team. It's a really good team, and I'm also happy to see Cancelo at left back. I know he's been in his best form. He probably admit that himself, but that's a team that is kind of what I want to see, really, if I'm being honest. You know, a lot of square pegs in square holes. A lot of players who are comfortable where they want to be, and Bernardo in there in the middle as well for their energy, because he's always good in the derby, isn't he? He's got goals at Old Trafford as well as he in the past. And Phil, of course, he's one of us. You know, he gets it. So I'm backing him to score today now. I'm happy now. I'm happy.
Happy, great.
Yes.
David, are you happy?
Yeah, it's a good team. I think we've all wanted to see Haaland in there as well. You know, he's not started in the last couple of games, so we've excited to see him back in the team. And as Stephen said about Foden, you want someone who's going to run at United and cause them problems. You know, Sean was talking before about the dealing with Marcus Rashford. Well, City have got a load of those players that can cause problems. Phil Foden's one of them. So hopefully we'll see some of that today.
I'm really excited by those attacking options, Sean, because obviously you have Haaland and Foden, boyhood blues, and then you have Riyad Mahrez, who's arguably our most informed player at the minute.
Yes, but before I go on to say that, listen, it's all around Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne plays today, performs today, well, the game is sealed. But yeah, I love our front line. I'm pleased Foden's in there. Mahrez has just been absolutely brilliant to watch him, how he controls the ball. He goes at his own pace, and players just can't read him. So really looking forward. I mean, our front line, what do we say, Haaland? The man just scores goals, so I'm really
giving you a run for his money, isn't it?
Exactly.
That'd be silly.
I'm just really excited about our front line.
When he scores one off his bum, Sean, then he'll be in your category.
Yes.
Looking at that defence, we've got Cancelo and Walker back to what we presume will be the positions that they normally play for us. I'd like to have a word, though, Stephen, on the centre-backs. So Akanji and Ake. At the start of the season, if you looked at our 5 centre-backs, you probably would suggest that Akanji and Ake would be probably 4th and 5th in the sort of succession line. Now, starting in the derby, and I am absolutely fine with it. I think they've both been phenomenal this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Akanji, I think he played the reverse fixture, did he?
Yes, he did.
Did he?
Yeah.
I think he did. And he was excellent that day as well. And I'm surprised Laporte's not playing, if I'm being honest. But I think there's an element of he's gone for Ake because Ake's such a stoic and reliable defender, and I feel like
really
he probably
good this season. Really
he's been excellent. Yeah, I think he'll lock down
the praise he deserves for it.
Absolutely, and I think Cancelo, who will obviously get forward, I think he probably just thinks Ake, who's a little bit more inclined to just do the physical tough work as a defender, probably prefers him over that side a little bit to Laporte, because Laporte's passing might not be needed as much with Cancelo bombing forward. So I think they both deserve to be there. I mean, I'm usually happy with any combination of the 5 because they're all so good, and that's not me just being a City fan on City TV. It's just true. They're all that good, and but those two, they deserve it.
Are you making a suggestion there that here on Matchday Live we may be slightly biased? I can't believe it, Stephen. Shocking news. Right, so that is the team news for today. I want to take a moment, though, because there is it's an incredible occasion today for Pep Guardiola. Today is his 500th match as a top-flight manager. 500 matches, of course, which has just been a career filled with trophies. He took charge of 152 La Liga games when he was at Barca, 102 in the Bundesliga when he was dominant there with Bayern, and today will be his 246th Premier League match as City boss. Right, I want to just quickly ask you, Sean, 500 games, how many of those do you think he's won?
Well, I say it's around 75%.
It's 76%.
Hey.
76%.
You were just rounding down, weren't you?
I just had that in my ear.
379 of his 499 top-flight encounters he has won. He's drawn 68 of them. That is a win percentage of 76%. The most victories, the highest win rate for managers who've taken charge of at least 100 games of any of Europe's big 5 leagues. That is since his first top-flight season back in 2008. And David, 500th game today. Well, you've got to top it, haven't you? You've got to mark that with a win.
Don't say things like this.
You have to.
Don't say things like this, because what happens, the football gods look at you and go, well, I'm not going to give you that now. If you don't tempt them, they don't do that. So it's a great achievement. And, I just hope he gets the result that really crowns it off. You want to look back on your memorable occasions as the ones that did well. Like when you score your 100th goal, you want it to be against somebody good, don't you?
You do. But he's absolutely right. I mean, it's against United. He wants to, no matter who is be against. He'd want to win, but the fact is against United, he'll look back and he'll say, yeah, on my 500th game, play at United, and we wiped the floor with them.
Told you this is why we needed him here today. Now, another man, of course, that starts today that we always need is Phil Foden. We spoke to him a little bit earlier on in the week about his manager, Pep Guardiola.
I used to watch Barca growing up, and when Pep was the manager, and then a few years later down the line, I'm playing in one of his teams. So, it's unbelievable just to see how he works, and how every day is 100%, and he wants to improve his team all the time. So, it's a pleasure to work with him and for him to be my coach. I think he just improves every player, not just me. I look at all of my team and I can see the improvement straight away after working with him. So, like I said, he's made me the 10 times the player. It's true because he understands the game a lot more than us. He sees the game in a different way, and the way he sets us up and puts us out is always to play better and find the space. So it helps us all a lot to play better.
That was Phil Foden speaking a little bit earlier on this week about Pep today. He takes charge of his 500th top flight game. It's just, I love hearing the players talk about Pep and what he's done for them personally, Sean. He's phenomenal.
He is. He just leads this trail in terms of all the clubs he's managed at. Players just have nothing but good things to say. They're saying how much they learn from him, and, you can see it. I mean, he's just came in and changed the game, and you now see League Two teams trying to play out the back, and you're looking at it. You're looking as a car crash about to happen, but it isn't just about passing. He tries to get players to understand where the spaces are and sucking teams over one side to go and exploit them on the other side. It's just really changed the game. So he's an amazing. I would have loved to have played under him, and you heard that from the players.
Oh, we are blessed to have him. We are blessed to have him until 2025, at least, of course, after he had his contract extended last month, indeed, just during the World Cup break. Now, I guess everybody's feeling a little bit nervous because I am. It's Derby Day. Do you want some stats? Sean, is it? Do you want some stats? Right, I've got some things that hopefully would make you...
Are they good stats?
Are they good stats? OK, hold on. OK, so... Oh, well, no, I'm not going to give you that one. I think that one will make you even more nervous. So I'm not going to give you that one. Right. United have lost more Premier League home games against us than they have any other opponent in Premier League history.
Is it like by a way? They can't level it today, can they? I mean,
no, we're good.
OK, we're good. All right.
No other side has beaten them more in the Premier League than us.
There's two
wild
bombshell stats.
The start of the Premier League.
Are you having that? We're tying that one with Chelsea and Liverpool. So if we could go on our own today.
Because when I was growing up, it felt like we never beat them.
We never did.
I know, it's because when you were growing up, we didn't beat them.
Yeah, but that was the Premier League era as well. So it's crazy how much it's changed, isn't it?
I went to Old Trafford when I was 14. This man scored. We drew 1-1, and honestly, I thought it was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. A draw there. So yeah, that does feel like
should have won that day.
Should have won. Took goals away from us, but we'll get those goals today.
I love him so much. So that makes me think we've got an incredible record against them. We've won the last 3, Sean.
Yeah, and from if you look at it from United's point of view, United would be thinking, we really have to be at our best. And when they look around their dressing room and look to the left, look to the right, they're thinking, you've got to make sure you do a job on De Bruyne. You've got to make sure you do a job on Bernardo Silva. You've got to do a job on... And you look around, United, for me, I think they're just going to be short. They're just going to be short because we have too much talent, too much quality. The last time City have lost 2 games back-to-back, I don't know. That's a
Not this season. If we've lost this season, we've gone on to win the next game.
And exactly my point. So this is another reason why I fancy us big today. It will be a tough one, but I fancy us today big.
You mentioned Kev there as well. Perhaps since the World Cup, he's not been in the level of form that we're used to from him. He has been directly involved in 5 goals in his last 2 Premier League appearances against United, scoring 2 and assisting 3. What a game for him to get back up to those high standards that he set.
You would hope so, wouldn't you? I mean, he's a phenomenon that he can be playing badly and still pop up with a goal and an assist. So when he's playing well, you're just like, well, how on earth do we cope with this? Because it doesn't matter if he's having a good game or a bad game. He's still influencing the game. And yeah, you're right. I think he's looked a bit tired since he's come back from the World Cup, and I think he's kind of been having to kind of get the rhythm of the season back. Maybe that starts today. You know, never better. There's never a better time than a big game to turn up and go, actually, this is where it clicks and this is where, you know, things come together again.
I think it does.
Yeah, and for De Bruyne today, you know, if you were to tell me at the end of the game that he's come away with a goal and an assist, would I be surprised? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. He's a great player.
I think Sean's right when he said earlier about if he turns up today, I think City winning. I think it is that simple. I genuinely do. I think if City have a great, if KDB has a great game, City have a great game. I think it really is that simple because he's got too much of an aura and too much individual brilliance to not drag those around him with him. So I do think there's a lot of expectation on him there, admittedly, but I do think a wonderful KDB is a wonderful Manchester City. So but I think he will be up for it today. I think he probably will be aware that he hasn't been at his very best, maybe since the Liverpool game when he was excellent post World Cup. But I'm expecting a reaction from him today. I think we'll get it.
Yeah, I would really love it if he was man of the match at the end of the game, because I think that signifies that we'll have a really dominant performance. Another stat to try and make you all feel a bit better, not that Sean needs it. Riyad Mahrez, of course, starts today. So he said that Kevin De Bruyne had been involved in 5 goals in his last 2 games against United. Mahrez has had a hand in 5 goals in his last 8 against United.
Yes, and it doesn't surprise me. Mahrez is a quality player. I just think that when he's on, which is most times, he's got the beating of fullbacks, and and for them, they want to send him to his right foot, and somehow he manages to get that ball on the left foot with them going to his right, and he's swinging that ball in, you know, quality pass. And what has surprised me is that I haven't seen him get more assists with Haaland. Because his quality, I'm surprised he hasn't been able to assist more goals on Haaland because, again, his delivery. And I just think that's where we can make a small improvement because he delivers quality and it's just whether Haaland gets the timing. Because Haaland's got the timing down with De Bruyne. He knows where De Bruyne, when he's going to put that ball in, he gets on the end of it. And I think that if he once starts to get the timing with Mahrez, then there's some more goals for him. So watch out for that.
Oh, I hope so, Sean. Thank you, David, Stephen. Actually, I think we're all like, it's like collective therapy here, making ourselves feel better ahead of the game. Now, FG is down at Old Trafford today. We've got him pitch side. He's with Michael Brown, and they're going to give you the Manchester United team news for today.
All right, here we are, pitch side at Old Trafford. I am joined by Michael Brown. We have seen the Manchester United team. We've seen Fred coming in. How does that change the way Manchester City are going to have to go up against the opposition?
Well, I think it's more Manchester United looking to stop City. An extra midfielder in there with Fred, and who's going to go in the wider area? Would it be Fernandes? Will it be Eriksen? Luke Shaw? Where's he going to be a centre-back? So lots of talking points to this Manchester United side. So they've adapted to City.
They have adapted to City indeed. Do you think they're going to pack the midfield then? Is it a case of them packing the midfield, getting bodies behind the ball and playing Man City on a counter-attack?
I think they've got to try and do that. Do you know, when you have a Casemiro, if he'd been that number 6 and holding, you see what City bring. And today it looks like it could be Bernardo Silva. And we are second-guessing Pep Guardiola here, which is always difficult. And Kevin De Bruyne. Then it's hard for the 6 when there's 2. So if Fred goes in alongside him, you can understand why they've gone with that balance. So listen, lots of talking points. It's also, we can talk shape, setup, but it's all about that little bit of aggression, that detail, nobody making mistakes under a high-pressure game.
And Marcus Rashford has scored in his last 3. He's looking to score 4 in a row for the first time since 2019. He's in hot form at the moment. How much of a worry is he going to be for the Manchester City back 4?
It's a huge worry, isn't it, when someone's full of confidence, they're getting into some good positions. So it's really important that City control the possession where possible. We've seen in the last Manchester derby, it didn't matter who they come up against. They went really quick, really aggressive. So Rashford's one to watch. I'm sure Kyle Walker won't go too far and understand the counter-attack that Manchester United pose.
Of course, the last Manchester derby ended 6-3. It was dominant by the Blues. Of course. Hopefully I'm smiling again later on. How different is this derby to the last one? Obviously Manchester United have improved so much, and it seems like a different type of challenge today.
I think that's always the talking point, isn't it? I think you're just reading all of the articles saying it's the closest Manchester derby for years. So we have seen some improvement. I've covered a couple of games here. They've had an easy run. So let's not forget that. They've had a comfortable run of fixtures coming back from the World Cup, etc. So listen, they'll be looking now to how they measure themselves against this City side who, yes, didn't get a great result in the week, but will be looking to really come and set the tone and put pressure on Arsenal.
Well, that's it. I mean, it's a massive opportunity for City as well, with Arsenal playing tomorrow to cut the gap to 2 points, and that is super, super important.
Very important. Arsenal going well. They've got some real tough games coming up. So, listen, it's the business end of the season, isn't it? We're coming into January. The transfer window's open. We're seeing different pressures on different managers. But for me, I just want to see I'm just looking forward to this game so much, and I want to see a really exciting start from City. And I'm sure we're going to get that reaction. As Pep Guardiola said, he felt his team weren't ready in the week. I'm sure they're going to be ready for this one.
Let's touch on that game at St Mary's. I know you were there, as I was. It just was a very unfamiliar Manchester City performance, wasn't it?
Well, it wasn't a performance that you would sort of trait with City's sort of professionalism, that they do everything right. And I think just sometimes a game happens like it does. Southampton, under no pressure, they give it everything they possibly could. And when there's mistakes in the game, and there's a few changes as well, sometimes you can't come back. All the big guns come on, try to change it in this great squad, and it just didn't happen for City on the night. But always when that happens, City get a reaction.
And I was just about to say that as well, as you did, smiling. What are your predictions for the game then, Brownie? Give us a score prediction.
Do you know what? Score prediction's always one of those. I'm not too sure. I don't care how City play, whatever happens, 3 points. And I know it's a bit old school. It just doesn't matter. Bring me 3 points. You can't lose this game. You've got to win here with big smiles on your faces.
With big smiles indeed, very much like it was in the last Manchester derby. From Pitside, from me and Michael Brown, we will see you soon.
Thanks to FG and to Michael Brown there. Totally agree with Brownie. Would love an incredible performance, would love a fighting, dominant display, but ultimately I just want the 3 points. The 3 points means everything. So we've seen the Manchester United team news now. We've seen heard Michael Brown's opinions on that. Sean, what do you instantly make of the Manchester United team, really with the key note being that they've brought Fred in, which appears to be to try and shore up that midfield a bit more?
Yes, and him alongside Casemiro, Eriksen is also a key part of that midfield. When I say key part of the midfield, from City's point of view, we know Eriksen is a good passer, but in terms of the work rate off the ball, so sometimes City's attacking and how we attack is actually attacking the strengths of the opposition. Meaning Eriksen is not so good out of possession. So by having balls and driving at him, he's not going to really work hard. So you're able to play 1-2s around him, and then before you know it, you're actually at the defensive back line. And that becomes a strategy if a team has a lazy number 10, for instance. These are some of the ways in how City will approach it. Yeah, Casemiro, experienced player, but I look at our midfield, I just think we've got energy, we've got power, we've got quality. I just think it's a bit too much for their midfield.
We're just seeing Eriksen scored against us 4 times when he played for Spurs.
I was going to say, do we have to watch Eriksen scoring against City?
Yes.
Spurs fans somewhere.
When he played for Spurs, he scored against us.
That's on board, by the way. So.
Yeah, this one doesn't count. So, rule this one out.
He has been a phenomenal signing for them, though. I think there was perhaps questions around his age when Manchester United signed him, but he is really proving that age is nothing but a number, Stephen?
He's just a really smart footballer, really intelligent and ultra reliable. He's the kind of footballer that doesn't really have bad games, and we've had loads of them over the years. Obviously, so Bernardo, David Silva, and whatever. And he's cut from a very similar cloth. Creative, intelligent, understands the game state and knows exactly where to be for United. And that experience and that control is something they've lacked probably a little bit over recent years. And to be honest as well, he's probably allowed Fernandes to be a better player maybe a more involved player. As great as Fernandes was with the stats and numbers, everything basically went through him, and he was probably culpable of scoring lots of goals, but also giving the ball away quite a bit. But Eriksen is just that experience and that bedrock alongside Casemiro that just works for them. So yeah, he's really good, annoyingly. So I wish he wasn't, but he is a very good player, and of course he's got a good record against us.
We're just seeing the Manchester United players arrive at Old Trafford currently. You can just see them, they're just walking in. Just a shout out to anyone that's ever been to the Etihad Stadium and watched how we bring our players in. phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal what we do.
I was just wondering, just from watching that, I was just wondering, has Luke Shaw used headphones before? He knows they go in his ears, doesn't he?
Well, talking about Luke Shaw, he plays today. He's in,
He's scoring now, wasn't he?
No, in that centre-back role today. Obviously, usually plays left-back, moved him into centre-back. Really interesting. They've done this for the last couple of games, David. And I think the interesting thing is the fact that they've got Harry Maguire, who is their club captain, who did play well for England, on the bench, and they're playing a left-back as centre-back.
It's quite telling, that, isn't it, of how United currently see where Harry Maguire is. I mean, from City's point of view, if you're Erling Haaland, you've got to look at that and go, I need to target the man who's playing out of position, because Shaw's a great left-back. He's an inexperienced centre-back. He's not played there a lot. So, you know, sure, players can move around. You can do a job elsewhere on the pitch. But if you're not in your natural place, you're not the place that you've trained consistently and you've played in for years, your speed of thought's not quite as quick as it would normally be. So you're thinking, I need to be here, not here, and I need to move here and step here to anticipate that. And that's the sort of thing that when you're a striker like Haaland, you're going to go, I need to pounce on that, because if somebody's got that, if you give Haaland a split second, then the ball's probably going to be in the net. So that's where City need to really capitalise, I think.
Yeah, that defence for United as well. I had a quick look online and I saw for United fans who were not very happy with that defence. And I understand why. I mean...
Not happy?
No, because Deleu's been great for them at right back. Wan-Bissaka's a good player, but he's a great one-on-one defender. But what you're hoping is City are going to overload on that side with Cancelo and Bernardo and Foden all buzzing around him, you know, and pulling defenders here and there. And obviously Malacia is still relatively inexperienced in the Premier League. Normally Shaw would be there, and normally Martinez has been fantastic for them. He's not available. So there's a lot of changes.
I'll tell you who could be key there, though, is Mahrez, because the way City get the ball on one side and then ping it across, his first touch, he's taking that down immediately, and if he's got space to run at, then
he'll be one to get Malacia.
That could be the game plan. Get us in the dugout, that's what we need.
Well, I completely agree. My first instinct on this Manchester United team, and sadly, due to the radio show that I work on, I talk about Manchester United quite a lot. This back four gives me more hope as a City fan. The fact that Wan-Bissaka is coming in and he hasn't played regularly, the fact that Deleu is injured, the fact that Shaw's out of position, like you say, the fact that Martinez isn't been playing. This back four gives me more confidence, especially with our front three.
Well, I'll tell you how our centre forward thinks. Haaland will be thinking, OK, look at that back line. If he feels confident that he could actually have a great game against Varane, he wouldn't bother sort of going on too short. But he would also be thinking, I'm that confident in my ability, I can go on short, I can go on Varane, and I can have a good time. If I'm out in wide areas, I'm going to expose these players who are coming in who haven't been playing for a while. So I think Haaland will be thinking, there's some goals to be had, or there's opportunities with the fact that they're coming in, they're not the soundest defence.
Don't want to make you feel more nervous.
Oh, please don't. Please don't. I've just calmed down.
The only word of caution I ever have against an inexperienced defence is the Main Road derby that you scored in, because City's defence that day was inexperienced. We threw in Lucien Matomo and Gerard Vikings, and they were brilliant. So let's just see.
That's different. That's for City.
That's Gerard Vikings, though. Of course he was brilliant. Gerard Vikings always brilliant.
I was feeling better. Let me feel better. Right, that is the thoughts of fans, me, Stephen and David. FG was outside Old Trafford a little bit earlier, and he was getting the opinions of fans that are attending the game today.
I want to ask you real quick, what is your best Derby Day memory?
It's got to be the 6-1. Anytime we beat United 6, happy days by me. So come on, City.
Probably one of the most is obviously the first one when we beat them 6-1. That was a good day. That I've got some friends that are obviously United fans, so it's nice to rub it in their faces for once. And then the other one was probably when we beat them 6-3, when I think Haaland and Foden both got an hat-trick. And I was actually on my honeymoon in Cyprus then, watching at a bar in front of, in Paphos, in front of loads of United fans, and I was jumping in front of TVs, and they weren't too happy. They left before the game anyway, so it were good.
Hey, Darren, you've been to many, many City games, 1,000 in a row. What are your predictions for Derby Day and your best memories as a Manchester City fan on Derby Day?
Best memories, obviously, to me, the one that sticks out is the final game at Main Road. It was only my second ever derby, so obviously it's special. Like I said, obviously watched loads on telly and never got a result. So obviously that one was special, and everyone says the 6-1, which was, but for me the one that sticks out was when we played in midweek, when Moyes was in charge, Pellegrini, and we beat them 3-0, but we absolutely destroyed them that night. Could have been any score, and we were just so many levels above them.
To see George Best in Highbury, 1969 with Arsenal, he was gorgeous. And of course, Cantona.
Richard, let's get your score predictions for today's game.
I think it's going to be tight. I think last couple of matches, City haven't been on the form, but hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going to do 3-0, I reckon. Haaland's hat-trick.
I'm not really good with predictions, but I am confident. I know the other night, obviously, was a disappointment. I'm hoping we use that today to springboard, obviously, bounce back, which we usually do, to be fair. I'm hoping they maybe had one eye on the game the other night, and obviously that was the excuse for the poor performance, but I'll go for a 3-1 City. I think providing we turn up will be too strong for them.
I reckon we're going to win 3-1. I reckon Haaland will get 2, and then the other one, we'll see who he plays with him. But I think Haaland will get 2 today.
First of all, we hope that the United will win. We come, both of us, to support United from Israel. And we are starting to see United from 1969, where George Best, Jackie Charlton and Bobby Charlton was together. So we enjoy from Manchester, we love Manchester United, and we hope to win this game today.
Love that. Hearing from the fans outside Old Trafford today. FG is there. He's our man there on the ground for us today. And football fans, aren't they incredible? Those 2 United fans travelled over from Israel for the game today. And one of the City fans that we were speaking to told us that today will be his 1,000th consecutive City game that he's been to, which blows my mind because I've no idea what this man does for a job. How is he getting all of this time off? But the level that people go to watch football is absolutely just phenomenal. Although I don't think the United fans grasp the question. That's okay. That's okay.
United fans living in the past. My surprise. Well,
the fan base is in London. That could be it.
Love this. Okay, so they were telling us about their favourite derby memories. David, what jumps to mind for you straight away?
The one for me, and this might sound like a weird one, but the company header one at the Etihad, because I have like you're talking about feeling nervous today. I have never felt as nervous as I was ahead of that game. And then the moment the final whistle went and they'd won and it was 1-0 and United hadn't had a shot on target and it had been such a controlled performance from City, you could feel the tension just lift from the stadium. City were back top of the table. And everyone thinks of the 6-1 that season, but that 1-0 was huge and it was such a good game.
I know exactly what you mean, and that happens to me after every derby. Win. The final whistle goes and the tension that I'm now feeling in my body, like I can feel my shoulders creeping up to my ears the closer we get to kick-off.
You just got really sleepy, don't you?
Yeah, the relief of it is incredible, and we're lucky that we've had that so much in recent years. But of course, we had it back in your time as well, Sean, because that will, I don't want to ever bore you, but that's my favourite ever derby, when you nicked the ball off Neville and slotted it in past Barthez.
Yeah, it was mine as well. It was a great day. I mean, to build up everything in terms of the crowd. You nipped out to the shops leading up to that week. You got to win this game, and it was so important, and it became sort of huge for us. But we just knew we had to somehow, get a win, because United at the time they were doing what we are doing, winning season after season, and so it was really good to play in that game, perform well, and have that moment really to run across United fans after scoring, like, I can't hear you. Giving a bit of that.
I love you, Sean.
Did you have that in mind when I'll put you through? Did you have that mind already that you think, when this goes in, I am going to run past them? Fingers on lips. Where can I hit you?
I knew I was going to do something. That's for sure.
I love as well that you celebrated against a former club technically as well. Good on you, man.
Yeah.
None of that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. So that is up there, obviously, with mine. Stephen, what's your favourite derby memories?
So many, genuinely. I always remember the first derby that I saw win. Actually win, because that was 2007. It took that long to see, and it was Giovanni. The goal in the first half, and then the second half where we just defended, and I thought they were going to score because United were flying at the time, and it was the Sven season, wasn't it? I think I remember that because it was the first time I finally saw us win live, and it was always pain and suffering. I had a good experience as well out in the US last season as well, when we beat them 4-1. I was in Austin, watching that with the American fans. That was an incredible experience as well, and obviously we were great that day as well. Mahrez bagging a couple. There's too many now. That's the best thing about being a modern.
There is now.
Like in the modern era, it used to be there was none. Now it's like there's one every season where you're like, we beat them 4-1, or we beat them 6-3, or we beat them 6-1.
Yes, you're absolutely right. But outside of mine, and I think about the 6-1. I'm thinking about there was David Silva. He done this volley pass. I think it was Eden Zako where he put in. Yeah. I mean, that was the form that the team was on. It was just sort of exhibition stuff. Absolute brilliant
FA Cup semi-final. No one's mentioned that yet. That felt like the changing of the guard, really, didn't it? That was a moment where City really arrived.
I watched that in a bar in New York where there was me and a United fan in this bar, and the rest of the bar was empty. But the barman had no idea what this thing he'd put on the TV was for us to. And the moment that Paul Scholes was sent off in that game, the United fan swore, slammed the drink down on the table, and walked out. And
Joy.
He was right.
It was this time to get his drinks in as well.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. And then we were walking through Central Park afterwards, and a saxophonist was playing Blue Moon, had no idea that it had any connection with City.
I love stuff like that.
It wasn't into soccer or anything like that, just playing Blue Moon, and we sat and listened to that.
I'd have loved that. Loved that. I have to say, I'm very blessed in my time as a fan. I've been into every one of the games that's been mentioned here. Nice. I was at the 6-1, I was at the FA Cup, I was at the 2007, I was at your one as a youngster. Very, very blessed to have seen some incredible derby games. The 6-1 will always be up there, of course. That was at Old Trafford, another part of the changing of the guard, as we like to say. Right, FG is still down at Old Trafford. He's doing well, bless him. We've sent him there dead early. He's had to put up with this all day. He's pitchside and he's managed to grab former United player Fraser Campbell.
All right, here we are pitchside with the man, Fraser Campbell. Fraser, what are your predictions for the game today?
I think, it was probably a draw. I think I'm going to say draw, but obviously I'd like Man United to just nick it here at Old Trafford, especially after the last game. City ran away with it, didn't they, last time? So it was. But yeah, I think both teams are in. Well, United are definitely in a better state this time, and hopefully we'll have an entertaining game this afternoon.
One thing I want to ask you about is coming through the academy at a big club. You did a very, very, very good job at maintaining it. We've got the likes of Palmer, we've got Rico Lewis, we've got Phil Foden. How difficult is it to maintain that level, and how important is it once you've made it to maintain?
I think, like I said, City's, fantastic facilities in the academy and things like that. So you're getting that culture, you're getting the facilities to improve as a player, as well as, the culture around the place. And I think that how you maintain it is just that belief. You want to continue doing it, you enjoy it, you get to play some fantastic stadiums around some fantastic players. So I think, if you've had the education as a youngster at a big club, it's instilled into you from the beginning. And people like saying Palmer and Ford and the fantastic abilities, great footballers, and I think hopefully you need a little bit of luck as well. But if they've got that on the side as well as their ability, I'm sure they'll have long, very exciting careers.
We hope that they do,
yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
Fraser, thank you. Lovely to catch up with you and
no
enjoy the game.
Thank you. You too.
So that's FG down pitch side at Old Trafford with Fraser Campbell. He's going to see who else is dotted around, who else he can grab to chat to before the game. Because we are 26 minutes away from kick-off. Today's 12:30 Premier League game against Manchester United. How are those nerves doing, Blues? Do let me know. Send us in a WhatsApp. Let me know if you're as irrational as I am on a derby day, if your nerves are always as bad as mine. So we're going to pause with the derby talk just for a minute, just to settle my nerves. And we're going to have a little chat about the EA Sports FIFA Team of the Year, because voting is now open. You have until Tuesday to cast your vote on who makes the final 11. And of course, unsurprisingly, City have loads of nominees. We're up there with 8 nominees for the EA Sports FIFA Team of the Year. So nominees, obviously, you'll probably be able to guess them all. Ederson, Cancelo, Diaz, Rodri, De Bruyne, Silva, Foden and Haaland. Do they all play today with the exception of Diaz? They do. Lovely. And of course, we chatted.
Practically got a team of the year then, haven't we?
See, there we go. We asked you both earlier in the week to have a little look at the teams of the year. David, we got your team first. Talk us through, what was your thinking?
Well, I mean, I found it really hard to start with because, first off, there's a list of great players there. But second off, I just wanted to fill it with City players. And then I thought, I can't, realistically, I can't just do that. So what I did was I picked a future City player in Jude Bellingham into the middle.
An ex-City player in Trippier.
An ex-City player in Trippier, yeah. No, so in goal, I mean, Courtois last season, it was heartbreak in the Champions League. He was a big reason for that. He was so good against City. He was so good in the final. And like I look at the goalkeepers and Ederson's nominated, and there's no reason why you couldn't pick Ederson. But I think Ederson he's the perfect goalkeeper for City. Maybe not for a team maybe not for other teams as well.
Okay.
Whereas I think Courtois is quite he's a ridiculous shot stopper.
And sadly, we saw him up close and personal, as we did with Vinicius Junior, who you've had to put him in, haven't you?
Well, he's a bit quick, isn't he?
He's really good.
So I mean, you look at that front line. Can you tell me if you played that front line that you wouldn't be almost guaranteeing a goal from each?
You'd be terrified
in every
you
game?
played against them, wouldn't you?
I mean, it's just ridiculous. Yeah, exactly that. Especially with De Bruyne feeding them as well. It just feels like such a good setup there. And Rodri, we know from City how good Rodri is. The fact that he does almost like a dual holding midfielder role on his own. So I reckon stick Rodri there, let the other five go off and have a bit of fun, and we'll do well.
Oh, it would be fun. That would be fine to watch them five. That would be amazing. Stephen, right, let's have a little look at your team and get your thinking on your FIFA team of the year. We'll see how it compares to David's.
Did I go for Haaland in the end? I did, I guess.
Yes,
I couldn't remember
you
if I did or not.
You got the same front three.
So I have got the same front three. I nearly put Mbappe in because I thought he deserved it after the World Cup. But I also wanted to. I was thinking about leaving Haaland out as a motivational factor. So he actually, proves himself an extra.
Stephen hasn't put me in his team. But in the derby.
I think I was sat in a cafe and I thought I can't put Haaland in as I did it. Casemiro, as much as it pays me to say, I think he's excellent. He's a world-class player, and that midfield three there. I mean, Rodri, De Bruyne, Casemiro. It's astonishingly good. Vardial as well. He's been the breakout centre-back in world football this year, really. A superstar in the making. Courtois, for the reasons David said as well, he was phenomenal in Real Madrid's win in Champions League. Painfully. Big Ruben always there. Hakimi as well, I think, is probably the best attacking right-back in world football at the moment as well. And Joao was there because he deserves it. So it's a good team. And Messi's Messi, so.
And Messi's Messi. Gosh, I would love to see that front three. Wow. Yeah, and I have to say I'm a little bit concerned about the fact that you have got Casemiro in there. Is that how highly you rate him?
Well, you've got to bear in mind most of the year was before he was at United, to be fair. So technically, the majority of that's as a Real Madrid player. So. Yeah.
Okay.
We saw him up close and personal as well last season.
Yeah.
Just like Courtois.
He deserves
yes.
it. He was brilliant. So.
Sadly. Sean, what do you make of them?
I think they're really good teams. I think, though, the Casemiro playing in a more forward advantage role probably is more position as with Rodri.
Well, I mean, I would have them both alongside each other and they both do what they want. Because Rodri just got a goal in him as well, hasn't he, to be fair?
And De Bruyne has capability to just do that role like two anyway.
Oh, and Messi's not defending. We know that, by the way. So Messi ain't defending, so you need Casemiro there. So
good point there. Very true. No, good. I think both teams. It'd be interesting to see if I know players are from both teams and both squads. It'd be interesting if they played each other. What that'll look like.
Ooh. Oh, Sean, that'd be a game and a half. So you can get on now. You can vote for the FIFA Team of the Year. So you have 8 nominees in that. So you've got till Tuesday to do that. So thank you so much for sending in your WhatsApp questions. As always, the number is on the screen now if you would like to ask our guests any questions whatsoever. So we've got loads coming through. Sean, I want to come to you first on this one because obviously the weather, if you don't know, wherever you are around the world, you're very, very welcome. The weather in Manchester this week has been bizarre. A bit cold, heavy rain, a bit of sunshine, more rain, really strong winds, bit of a miserable week, although a bit of a typical Manchester weather week as well. Roger asks, Sean, how does cold temperatures and rain affect the players?
Well, rain doesn't really affect the players too much because we're so used to it. I mean, typically training sessions, the pitches are watered if it's not already wet, so they're used to the actual wetness of it. I think it's wind is where the game could be affected. When it's windy, City tend to play with the ball on the ground, and that will encourage them to do it even more so. Keep playing the ball on the ground and moving it around. So the thing is, because we're in the stadium itself, the wind effect probably doesn't affect too much. And the way City plays, City would just keep moving the ball, short passes, not playing too long. So it doesn't have too much of a bearing on the way we play today.
Good. I'm loving watching that training as well. Our back four there, seeing how the four of them warm up. That's really, I love that. Fascinating. And we had David James on a show a couple of weeks ago when it was particularly windy. He was obsessed with the wind, Sean. Obsessed. Kept talking about the wind.
Goalkeeper, isn't he? Yeah. I played it. I'm not quite to Sean's level, but I've played in goal a bit, and I hate it. The wind really, really, really messes with your head when you're going up for the high balls. So it's, goalkeeper, I can see it.
I think it was when we were at Ellen Road. He was obsessed with the wind.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, because a keeper coming for crosses or something like that, then all of a sudden the ball drops or stays higher or longer. Yeah, it can be real trouble for keepers.
When you're playing in the local parks rather than the stadiums, when you've got a low sun as well, that's a nightmare.
We appreciate your input here, Dave, your playing experience. Ali sent in a question asking, what are all your favourite games so far this season? And Ali says his is the derby from earlier on. Lovely, Ali, probably mine as well.
Yeah, to be honest, the derby. I enjoyed the 3-2 Liverpool game as well. That was just good fun. It was a good game.
The cup game.
Yeah, that was really good. It probably is the derby, if I'm being honest, because 6-3. It could have been more as well, let's be honest. Should have been 10.
Should have been 10.
Fulham.
David?
Fulham.
Oh, that was incredible. Yeah, I was there as well, actually.
Honestly, with 10 men for so long in that game, I think you're looking back at the season and going, that's the performance of the season.
Is that when we got last-minute goals?
Yeah, Haaland penalty. Yeah. It was a terrible penalty as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It crept in. But KDB was phenomenal that day.
The celebrations in the stadium that day were
they were incredible.
Nobody left. It was electric.
Yeah, it was insanely good, and I mean, I would almost go as far as say that's one of the best performances that I've ever seen from a Guardiola City. It would, like in the years he's had at City, that game encapsulates what he wants out of the team.
We need that today.
I feel like if there was any doubt that Pep had, not that he did, about signing a new contract, I think that game was the moment where he's like, the players, no, I need to be here. I need to be in this stadium with these fans and these players because it was wonderful.
Oh, it makes me tingle. Sean?
Solidifies it. Well, yeah, the boys are right. And you talk about the Liverpool game because last season you're always thinking they're going to be around it. So when you get one over them and perform well, it's really nice. And well, Derby Day, you're always happy with a great performance. So I think when we played United game was awesome as well.
Love that. Thank you very much for that question, Ali. And the last one just for now, Grace has said, hi everybody, who's your favourite player of all time? From Grace. Well, Grace, this is mine. Yeah. Stephen?
I'd probably say David Mooney, goalkeeper. No.
Well,
it probably is Kevin De Bruyne these days. There's a very exclusive list of people like Shawnee Wright and Kinky and so on, but obviously Sergio and David. But KDB, I think, is Manchester City's greatest player of all time. I think he's going to be.
Okay.
I think he's reached that top of the pile. Personally, I think he's phenomenal.
Because the argument generally still is Silva and Aguero. So,
but I think KDB, I think he's that level. I think he does things that I didn't think were possible with football sometimes. You know, the passing, the vision, and I think he plays like a captain and. He's got bits of every player that I love at Manchester City, and I think he's my favourite ever Man City player.
Oh, I love that. David?
Well, I have two. Because
okay, well, I don't know, it's up to Grace.
Well, you see, the thing is,
Grace said no.
I can't disagree with all of that, and I think I see David Silva, and when I watch David Silva play football, I've never seen anything like it. It sounds awful, but it was poetry in motion. It was like you could see it and. Like some of the things that he did without football, I didn't think were possible.
They were almost like the opposites, weren't they?
Yeah.
Because KDB was pure product, pure brutal brilliance, whereas David Silva was death by 1,000 cuts, wasn't he?
And Silva, name three qualities that you want in an attacking midfielder, and you'd say you want someone who's got a bit of pace, who's two-footed and can shoot from range. David Silva could do none of those, and he was still the best player in the league. So that tells you how good he was. But all of that said, I'm a goalkeeper, and I have to pick a goalkeeper, and because I grew up watching Nicky Weaver, and Nicky Weaver was he just absolutely encapsulated what I wanted to be as a goalkeeper when I was a kid.
I was a keeper as a kid as well, and Nicky Weaver was my hero as well. I had a signed Tony Coton shirt though, which I love.
Lovely man as well. Sean, can I make you name one person, or are you going to say everybody?
Listen, I'm going to refuse that question. We've got too many good players, too many great players that have come through this team, and absolutely right. You know, David Silva, and you think of the current team. There was a period with Yaya Toure. I thought Yaya Toure was amazing. Sergio Aguero with the goals. I'm not going to give you. I'm sorry, Grace. You're not getting one from me.
Vinny as well. We haven't mentioned Vinny yet.
Vincent Kompany. Vinny. It's just too many quality players.
This era doesn't happen without Vincent Kompany because the captain that we needed to get there.
Oh, I love it. Grace, what a brilliant question. I think this is my friend Grace that also sent in the question about the ice cream a few months ago. If it is, Grace, you always come up with the best questions. That got a lovely debate there. Thank you so much there for sending in all of your questions. If you're just joining us, welcome to Matchday Live. Less than 15 minutes away from today's 12:30 kickoff against Manchester United. If you haven't seen the team yet, here is your starting 11 for City today. And that is Ederson, Walker, Akanji, Ake, Cancelo, Rodri, De Bruyne, Silva, Mahrez, Foden and Haaland. The team are there, they're warming up on the pitch at Old Trafford. The part that you're seeing on the pitch there, if you look above you in the corner, that is the City fans. The City fans are always, the away fans are always up in the corner there at Old Trafford. Now, Riyad Mahrez is in sensational form for City just now. He starts today. FG is pitch side at Old Trafford and has managed to grab one of Mahrez's former players that he played with at Leicester, of course, a former Premier League winner there at Leicester as well. FG has grabbed Danny Simpson for a quick chat.
All right, here we are pitch side again, and it is with pleasure to say I am joined by Danny Simpson, a man who has won the Premier League and is very, very familiar with a certain Manchester City player. Danny, I need to get your thoughts on Riyad Mahrez.
Listen, obviously I played on the right with him for many, many years. Sat next to each other in the dressing room. I spoke to him just yesterday, and obviously we're good friends, but for me, mate, he's one of the best players in the league. His first touch is, I think, the best in the league. The way he's able to just take it on the on the bounce and manipulate wherever he wants. And I love watching him. And obviously for City fans, it must be great. Must be great to have him. And I was obviously happy when I was playing with him, not against him. Put it that way.
You guys created some unforgettable memories together. What was he like, not just on the pitch but off the pitch as well?
Honestly, he just felt like one of the lads. Honestly, like, he's probably been in England so long, but like when I said I first came to Leicester at the time, and I sat next to him in the dressing room, and obviously when you sit next to someone like that, you create a bond. But he's just a good lad. He's a fun lad. He's a happy lad. I like to get involved with the banter. Yeah, he just felt like one of the English boys, to be honest. That's probably the best way I can compliment him. Obviously on the pitch, we know what he can do.
You did say he's got the best first touch you've seen, and we completely agree with that. By the way.
Right, do you?
He is absolutely brilliant. Let's talk about his free kicks as well. We saw an absolute screamer against Chelsea. He did it a couple of times in a Leicester shirt with you in the same side. How good is he from a dead ball situation?
Well, listen, I seen him on the training pitch, so I seen him practicing this. Wasn't something I got involved with, but I seen him, like I said, it was every day after practicing, and that's why I'm not surprised to see him, like I said, stick one in the top corner against Chelsea. And there's a lot of questions when he made the move, and for me, he's got from strength to strength. Like I said, obviously I'm his close mate, and I'm obviously delighted for him. It's just today, you know. He's fantastic, and that's what we do today.
Okay, now let's talk about him real quickly. What are your predictions for today's game?
Listen, I'm quietly confident. Listen, it's a massive fixture, but I am going to edge United today. I know you don't want to hear that. Listen, my dad's a Blue, my brother's a Blue, half my family's a Blues, but I just think, they're in good form at Old Trafford at the moment. It's probably been the best time United.
So FG is down pitch side. That was the thoughts of Danny Simpson, who of course played at Leicester alongside Riyad Mahrez. Riyad Mahrez starts today for City, and we'll be hoping he does another one of those sensational free kicks that he did against Chelsea that they were chatting about there. So we are around, we're getting really close. We're about 12 minutes till kick-off now in the Manchester derby. If you haven't as of yet, get the Manchester City app downloaded. If you're watching on it already, well done you. You need to get that downloaded before 12:30, because that is the place to get your commentary for today's game with Alistair Mann and Michael Brown, the best place to get your commentary. So 11 minutes till kick-off, Sean. You're always nice and positive. How are you feeling now? What sort of game are you expecting?
Well, I'm expecting us to control the game from start. I think because United's been in good form, I think he'd want us to keep the ball. They'll look to sort of press and win the ball and get the crowd into it. But I think it's important that we keep the ball. So I can imagine it'd be, 1,000 passes in terms of trying to kill him with passes. kill the atmosphere, and then be able to stamp our game.
Talking about keeping the ball there, Kevin De Bruyne has said in his pre-match interview today, David, in terms of United, he says they've changed their style since Ten Hag has come in. He said they used to play more on the counter, but they now play more possession-based football. So both of us are wanting to keep the ball. How's that going to work out?
I think when that happens, generally, City tend to keep the ball. You know, it tends if City come up against teams that want to keep possession. We have great players that are able to keep possession in tight spaces. You see them warming up doing those rondo things where they knock it around and there's two players chasing. And you watch the two players in the middle are quality players and they can't get near it. And it's like that's our own players knowing what our own players are going to do, unable to kind of step in. So when, despite what United have changed this season and how they're developing under Ten Hag, City are still going to try and impose their game on the match. And so. When I look at the two teams, and I think De Bruyne is right. I think United have changed. I used to go into the derby thinking, what would happen if City just went, you have the ball, because they didn't really want the ball, so they wanted to hit us on the counter attack. So if City went, you have the ball, then they don't really know what to do with it. And the current United team, I think, would look at it and go, yeah, we want to come and try and get it off you. It might lead to a little bit more of an open game, and that could play into City's hands. So I am nervous, but quietly confident, let's say.
And despite the fact that United are in really good form recently, clearly Ten Hag's had a positive effect on them. Despite that, we do still go into the game as favourites. We have to go into the game as favourites. Pep Guardiola said in his pre-match interview for TV, I always feel like we are the favourites. I have big respect for them. Hopefully in the last decade they have respect for us on the pitch. We deserve the credit. It's in our hands. And Pep's right, isn't it, Stephen? Despite the fact that we lost in the last game and they're on an incredible run, we go into the game as favourites.
Ultimately, Man City have won 4 out of the last 5 Premier League titles, so we are still probably, in many people's eyes, the best team in the country. So yeah, we are, and I think that's it's a fair comment, and I think it's something that the players have to prove as well. They have to prove that they are the favourites, and they have to prove that they are a better side, and that obviously frees United up a little bit because no one's really expecting them to win. I guess United fans are confident right now, but. Like even if they lost, I don't think they'd be devastated, because obviously City are still Manchester City. But yeah, I mean, I want to see City react to that, and I want to see show them why they are, because our form recently hasn't been at our best, and that team that we got today, that's something close to what many people would say is City's best 11, and that to me is almost Pep putting those players out there going, go and be who you are, go and be yourself, go and show people just how good Manchester City are. I know we're second in the league, we've just had a disappointing exit in the Carabao Cup. Remind us of just how brilliant you are, and I think we will see that, I really do, and I think we'll justify that favourites tag. Fingers crossed.
Oh, I hope so. My stomach just started jumping when you were talking there. I thought I was doing all right, but I just feel a little bit sick again. Other pre-match interviews that have happened, Andrew Cole, the former City and United player, Sean, has said today that he expects Erling Haaland to break his record. He has a record just now of 34 goals in 42 Premier League games, but he thinks Erling's going to break that. I think we'd all agree.
Yeah, Andy's smart. He knows. He sees that that's going to happen. The form and the quality of the players around him and his quality, he knows that this guy's just going to score goals, and given the opportunities, he will do that. And today he'll be so up for this game. He'll be up for it because he'll want to leave a mark. He'll know that the world is watching this game, and he's been in such good form. He'll want to continue that.
And by the way, nearly 500,000 managers on FPL have triple captained Haaland this week. I didn't. I really considered it, but I've held it. But do you know what? I hope it works out for you all, because that'll mean that he's got a hat full of goals. Right, we are only a few minutes away now from kickoff, so I'd just like your predictions, please, Sean.
Well, I'm thinking, respectfully, I'm thinking either 4-0 or 4-1.
I love it when you start.
There's no such thing as those two things together.
Yes.
Respectfully, that's terrible.
So you choose at home, 4-0, 4-1. That's me.
David?
That's what I believe today.
Well, respectfully, the couple of people in the VT before said it. I'm feeling a 3-1 City win. I hope that I hope they can get over the line with a 3-1, because it's a good solid derby win score.
I was a little bit more apprehensive before, like maybe 24 hours ago. I was expecting maybe a draw, but now seeing the teams, both teams, I think City, I think they're going to be in business, and I reckon there's been a lot of soul searching this week, and I think City are going to turn up. So I'm going to go for a 2-1, but it'll be a good 2-1, if you know what I mean. Like, we'll play well and United will probably score, but we'll still be like, City are back, you know?
Okay. I'm going to do a respectful 3-1. An unrespectful 3-1, actually. I'm not going to lie. Lovely. Stephen, David, Sean, thank you so much. You can see the teams are in the tunnel. They'll be heading out at Old Trafford. You need to get the commentary for this game on the Manchester City app. It's wonderful. Alistair Mann is the only person you want to listen to on Derby Day, trust me. Everybody else is going to wind you up. Get Alistair Mann on wherever you're listening, on your phone, on your tablet now for the commentary. We will be back here at half-time talking about whatever happens in the next 45 minutes. And, oh, gosh, everything is crossed that we will be talking about a fighting, phenomenal City performance and 500,000 happy triple captainers in FPL. So try and enjoy the game, Blues. We'll be back with you at half-time. We're going to go over to Alistair Mann now and Michael Brown with your commentary ahead of the Manchester Derby.
Do you love them or hate them? Do you fear them or embrace them? However you feel about them, there's nothing quite like Derby Day in Manchester. The Blues meet the Reds for the 189th time, and each one has had its own unique tale, its own way of creating special memories. Which image is embedded in your mind today? Dennis Law's back heel at Old Trafford.